Welcome back to Retro Life for You, the podcast where we dive into the unforgettable movies of the 80s and 90s, the cult hits, the classics, and the stories behind them. I'm your host, Chris, and today we're entering a darker world of sorts, a world of vengeance, love, loss, and legacy. Today's episode is all about the iconic 1994 gothic action film, The Crow, starring the late Brandon Lee in his final and most unforgettable role. And this just isn't a movie, it's a moment in pop culture, a tragedy in film history, and a lasting tribute to a rising star who left us way too soon.
Uh-huh. Yep.
With us this week, again, he just can't get enough of us.
Again, here I am.
Martin
Here I
Phil
am again.
Marty. He put Martin all he wants. He's Marty. Uh,
Yeah, okay. Just for you, man.
just
Just
for
for you.
me. Just
Just
for
for you.
me, he's Marty. But the rest of y'all, he's Martin Phillips. He has to sound adult like nowadays.
Nowadays.
Nowadays, yeah. Back in the
Mm.
day, he was just Marte.
Yeah, Marte. Well, how
Marte.
are you doing, Chris?
I'm fine.
How was your work week?
My work week has been just that work. It's I did co-workers on vacation this week. We've had some newbies there with us trying to help out a little bit. Hadn't been that bad, honestly.
Um,
It's not as bad as it could have been, but it's all right. How about you? How's your work week been?
my work week's been all right. Well, I work like Saturday through Tuesday, so I've literally my work week started on Saturday and ended on Tuesday. But this week I was not feeling too hot on Tuesday, so I didn't go to work, and so I've been off for 4 days. So it's been all right.
Hooky. He's playing hooky. Don't listen to
No
him.
hoogie, no hoogie.
He played hooky just so he could watch the movie The Crow again every day this week until he got to this certain day so he could be prepared.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what he did.
I like the sound of that.
Like the
So
sound of that. Hey, Marty,
yeah.
since some people out there may not have seen this movie, believe it or not, uh, do you want to give a quick rundown of your synopsis of the movie?
Oh, my synopsis of the movie. All right.
I mean, don't give away
So,
all the details. Just tell them what's
man,
the
if you want
story
me,
about?
man, if you want me to give the synopsis, I'm giving away everything. But here we go. The movie is all about Eric Draven and Shelly Webster, two lovely couple that are going to get married on Halloween. But a little something happens and they don't get married and they both get killed on the same night. And a year later, uh, Eric, he comes back from the dead to seek revenge on the four people that killed him and his fiancee, Shelly.
Hence the love
And
story and the revenge film.
yes, and man, it is awesome. This movie I've seen at least 50 times. 50 times. And it never, ever gets old.
No, it doesn't. This is based on a graphic novel by James O'Barr.
hmm
Uh,
And to tell you the truth, I have actually read the graphic novel, and the graphic novel is similar, but it is different, and it goes into like greater detail of like the whole backstory of Shelley and Eric. So
yeah, I mean that's typical for books. So I mean, books always have a deeper story, more a better adventure to them, just because of the attention to detail that the book provides. I mean, so it doesn't surprise me at all that it's good as it is and everything, and probably a little bit better than the movie. Do you
uh
know that James O'Barr, he was not really crazy about them doing this film and everything, the adaptation of his uh, graphic novel that he had. But when he seen Brandon Lee on set in full
that
crow
changed his
getup,
mind.
yes, completely
Yeah.
changed his mind. Like he knew Brandon Lee understood the character when he read some
Mhm.
lines to him in character. he said that this guy gets it. He gets my creation. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
So that's did you know a little tidbit about this? We titled the episode this week "It Can't Rain All the Time." Brandon Lee
Mhm.
Crow. It's a quote directly from the movie, right? So it can't rain all.
Right. Yeah, it's when he's talking to Sarah and like right before Sarah's getting ready to skateboard into traffic, and he pulls her off the skateboard, and he grabs her, and then she looks at him. Well, she kind of looks at him, but he's turned away from her, and he's facing the pole. And then she kind of looks at him and she goes, "I could have made it." And he's like, "Yeah." And then
But she tells him it's more like surfing, not
it's more like
skating.
surfing, not skating. Yeah. And then she kind of gets a glimpse of his face, and she says, "What are you supposed to be, a clown?" And he says, he's like, "Sometimes." And then that's when she starts to walk off, and she tells him it's more like surfing than skating. And then she said, "I wish it would just stop raining." And then that's when he tells her it can't rain all the time. So, and then that's when she realizes, she says, "Eric," and then he's gone.
Now
So,
in the movie, "It Can't Rain All the Time" is a lyric from one of his songs. He's a rock star,
right.
remember? So it's a lyric
Yeah.
from one of his songs.
I want to
Um,
say on the cover of the record, their group was called Bone something joke, or Bone Saw joke, or I know it was on the cover and it had a bunch of like skeletons and stuff. So
but now, do you know where James O'Barr came up with the term to put in there? "It can't rain all the time." It's from a real life
um,
experience of his. It's inspired by an encounter that he had while
yeah, I think
hunting.
was it because of where when his girlfriend died, it was raining and went in a car crash.
No, 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 no.
Okay.
He had basically went to the grocery store and he was unable to pay for some groceries. So frustrated, he decided to buy just a bag of rice that he'd picked up. And the man behind him um, kind of stated, "You can't eat rice all the time," and then paid for Obar's groceries. The man turned out to be
Yeah.
Lee Coughlin, which is the mayor of the town he lived in. So he's also the mayor, Lee Coughlin. He's also the basis for the character of Albrecht that was played by Ernie Hudson.
Oh, okay.
So I thought that was kind of cool. He had taken that real life experience, turned it into something to go toward the character, to have
Yeah.
some meaning behind it and all. Um, but yeah, this is the movie itself. I just had it in front of me here. Um, Box office. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Despite being despite behind the scenes tragedy, which we know Brandon Lee died in this movie. We'll touch on that in a few minutes.
Uh-huh.
The Crow was released mid-May or in May of 1994, to critical acclaim and strong box office numbers. It made about $50 million domestically and $94 million worldwide on a $23 million budget, but it became an instant cult hit amongst goth subculture fans and lovers of alternative cinema. It
And
spawned
music fans.
music fans because it had a great soundtrack to it.
Yeah.
Most great movies always have a great soundtrack to fall back on, it seems like.
Uh,
So that's not a surprise at all that it had good music behind it. It spawned multiple sequels, a TV show, and eventually a controversial reboot
yeah.
that was out that we just discussed a few minutes ago before we come on here. And that was not exactly something that a lot of people liked. Um, what we say his name was?
Bill
Scar,
Skarsgård.
was it Bill Skarsgård or the other
Yeah.
one?
Yeah, it was Bill
Yeah,
Skarsgård that played Eric Draven in the reboot.
right, Bill
So,
Skarsgård. And like you said, if it had been like an additional chapter to the movie, it wouldn't have been that bad. You could have lived with it. But the fact they were trying to reboot the actual first one
Yeah.
It didn't go that well, I don't
Yeah,
think.
and just in my own personal opinion, but not just my own personal opinion, but like a lot of other people's personal opinions said that if it was like part five of the trilogy, The Crow, they could have lived with it.
Mhm.
Not being that it was a reboot of the first movie. So,
Now, you mentioned earlier when I was asking if you knew where It Rain, It Can't Rain All the Time come from. You mentioned about his girlfriend, James
yeah,
O'Barr.
yeah.
Some of the pre-production notes I've got here for the movie talks about The Crow began as an indie comic created by James O'Barr after the death of his fiancée. So it was a raw, emotional, and violent um, comic, kind of born out of grief for the loss of her.
Yeah.
Hollywood eventually took notice, and director Alex Proyas, an Australian visual artist and filmmaker, was brought on to bring the Gothic world to life. He would later direct Dark City and I, Robot, but The Crow was his biggest break, or it was his big break to get in.
Mhm.
So filming began in '93, Wilmington, North Carolina. Says the tone was gritty, the budget was modest, around 23 million, and it was intended as a mid-budget action thriller. But during filming, the tragedy struck. I have a question I wanted to ask you later in the show, but I'm gonna go ahead and bring it up to you now because it ties in with that right there when it says tragedy struck.
Yeah.
Um, so would the film have had the same impact and done as well? You think if Brandon Lee hadn't died?
For for me personally, uh, um, to tell you the truth, I'm not sure. I think being that this was Brandon Lee's last movie and that he had only literally had done only three movies and just in his film career, I think that that's what pushed everybody to go see it.
Mhm.
But I think just because of its gothic and black underbelly tones of the movie itself and just the action and the science fiction to it and even like some of even your comic book fans that know of like Obar's work, just the Crow itself. I mean, that would have probably made people go see it also. But I'm thinking more that it was leaning towards that this was Brandon Lee's last movie.
A
And
tragedy, as sad as it is, a tragedy does help in areas like that because they
yeah,
know it's the last time they'll see him in a film. They got to go run see it um, on the big screen. That's what they want to do, and people will buy it when it comes out on home video release.
uh-huh.
But I personally think it would have done well, even if he hadn't died and passed away. I think the movie would have done well based on the type of movie that it is, what it's about. You mentioned has comic book ties. Your comic book fans love these things. They love it when their stuff goes to the big screen. I'm one of them. Both of us are, as far as that
Yeah,
goes. Watching the
yeah,
Avenger movies and the DC movies and things of that nature. I mean, we really take to it. I mean, think of how the people took to the Walking Dead TV series. And I believe that was a graphic novel first, wasn't it?
yeah. Well, it was comic books. It wasn't even graphic novels. It was comic books.
See, I
And
thought I thought they were graphic
yeah,
novels.
they literally did like two or three in a month. So and then it was like then the after the whole like if they would get like a set of 10 or a set of 8 out, then it would go into like a volume one, and then it went into graphic novels. So
Okay. Oh, it's stuff like that people really take to, and it's a big deal. We need to go ahead and talk about the cast a little bit here, since we are talking about Brandon Lee. Um, Brandon Lee himself said this is
uh,
his last movie.
can
Son
he
of
name
Bruce Lee.
can he
He
name all three of his movies that he did?
did four.
He did four.
He was in 4. He was in Kung Fu: The Legend Continues. He was
Oh,
in he was in
that's
Crow,
right. Yeah,
Rapid Fire, and Showdown
Rapid
in Little
Fire.
Tokyo.
Go down there, Little Tokyo. Yep,
Yeah.
yep,
Showdown in Little Tokyo was him and Dolph Lundgren. Brandon Lee was more, in my opinion, comedic relief there for most of the
yeah.
movie.
That's
Kind of
what
like
it
a
seemed like. Yeah.
supposed to be like a buddy cop kind of feel to it. It's what it was supposed to be.
Uh-huh.
And he's the comedic, half of the buddy cop.
Yeah.
Um, and a lot of people don't recognize that Dolph Lundgren is a martial artist. He's a legit martial artist.
Yeah.
So he was more of the serious kind in that movie, and Brandon Lee was more the Joker. And then Rapid Fire is probably my favorite
Ooh,
movie with
yeah.
Brandon when Brandon Lee did with Raven. I'm sorry, with Crow being right after that. But I did like Rapid Fire quite a bit. It had Powers Booth in it, and gosh, I forget the other people in it. It's been a good minute. James Hong, I think, might have been in it.
Well,
Well, I might be thinking of somebody else. I don't know, but it was definitely good. Um,
Kung Fu: The Legend Continues. That was a TV show, right?
I think it was called The Legend Continues. I can tell you for sure here in just a second, but for some reason I thought it was called The Legend Continues. It was definitely a kung fu movie with David Carradine, though. I can tell you
Okay.
that for sure.
Okay,
Um,
so that was a TV show, but
Kung Fu: The Legend Continues is a TV show, yes,
okay,
but Kung Fu the movie is what it was called. It was a TV movie, so
okay.
it's 1986 Kung Fu the movie. He was actually in a movie called Legacy of Rage, as Brandon M.A. I don't know what M.A. is. It's Ma, I guess. Um, a TV series of CBS Summer Playhouse, a movie, something called Crime Killer in the opening scene, opening credit scene.
Hmm,
A TV series called O'Hara, a movie called Laser Mission, which I didn't know about in '89,
hmm.
and then Showdown Little Tokyo, Rapid Fire, The Crow, Sex Lies and Video Violence. Don't know what that is, but that's after The Crow, and it says he's the man in line to nightclub. Maybe it was something filmed before The Crow come out. I don't know.
They'd have to be because I know he was accidentally shot on set
Right.
and,
So
and died from complications in the hospital. So
the guy who accidentally shot him on set did not act for an entire year after that happened. Michael Massey, the one who played Fun Boy,
uh
right? He's the one that accidentally did it. So he was not supposed to fire a gun at Brandon Lee's character, but it was changed at the last minute by director Alex Proyas. Said he
uh
still, like years later, he said he was still waking up with nightmares,
yeah.
from that scene. So
And I wanna say that scene is where Darla and Funboy are in his bedroom, and it's where the Crow comes in, and then Brandon Lee's Eric Draven comes through the window, and then that's when he kind of freaks him out a little bit, and then the first shot I guess it was kind of like it was like a fake shot, but he puts his hand right up on the gun, and then he says, "You got me dead bang," or "You got me." Yeah, he goes, "You got me dead bang," and then that's when Funboy, he's all like, "You're blah blah in the head," and then he pulls the trigger, and then he's just sitting there and he's laughing, and then he's looking at the hole in his hand, and he's still laughing, and it just seals up.
just disappears.
Yeah, and then it just disappears, and then that's when he goes into that joke of he's like, well, Funboy goes, Jesus Christ, and then Eric says, Jesus Christ, and he's like, let me tell you a joke, and let me tell you a joke about Jesus Christ. And then that's when he pops the gun again and shoots him in the shoulder. And I think the shot that actually like kills him is the shot where, and if you really look at it, it when it hits him in the chest, he folds down like this, but you can see the back excess, like an actual, like it's literally like a blowback, and it looks like, I mean, like he's really like hurt. So, um, I mean, I know they had to keep it in the movie just because it was a screenshot,
Mm-hmm.
but for them to actually leave it in there, and then that's an actual, like, I don't know, it's kind of, it's kind of weird because it's like, it kind of gets to me because, why would you actually want to have somebody actually, actually getting shot in that one scene, it being
Right.
real? So,
I I think they talked to the fiance and the mother, and they said that he would want that in the show to go ahead and put that in and not redo it around them or anything.
mhm,
But I still wouldn't have done it myself.
yeah, yeah, but that's Hollywood for you. I mean,
That's true. That's
uh,
just what they do. I mean, took some CGI, which was still kind of new at the time, than the new kind of CGI they had going on, and some body doubles, and that's made what they could out of it.
yeah, because what I heard was like the whole towards the end fight scene, like where they're in the club, and there you see him like in the beginning of it, and then it's kind of like when you see like there's other shots that are like not so close up, you can almost tell that I don't think that was Brandon Lee at one point because of the way, even like the facial expressions. So,
Right. No, you're right. Um, who? Where we? So we just talked about Brandon Lee. Ernie Hudson plays
uh
Sergeant Albrecht.
yep, Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters. That was the next place I was asking. Where do you know him from other than that? Ghostbusters for sure.
Ghostbusters. Yeah,
He was
even
in the hand. He
from
was in the hand that rocks the cradle, but I can't remember if that was before or after this.
I want to say after. Uh, yeah, because that had Rebecca De Mornay in it. So
Yeah. Let's
only
see.
only thing that I remember the most about that movie is I went and seen The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, and sorry to get off topic, but we're in the theater, and the whole theater is just dead silent. And when Rebecca De Mornay's character gets killed at towards the end of
Oh,
the movie,
I already know.
uh,
I was there with you.
oh, you were there, you were
Yeah. Yeah, I was there
there.
with you guys, man. You don't remember that? The
Oh,
guy jumped up and
dude.
yells, "Die!" Yeah, you know what?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Oh man, that was so hilarious. The whole theater busted out laughing.
I know. I'm trying. I'd talk about where we watched it, but nobody listened. Would know what in the world we're talking about. I think I remember where we were too, and we seen it. Um,
Fountain Square, I could have
yeah,
bought. Yeah.
that's what it was. Michael Wincott. Well, we said Ernie Hudson. Let's go back to Ernie Hudson for a second. Best known as Winston is from Ghostbusters.
Mhm.
Said he brings grounded humanity to the film. He's one character who sees Eric as more than a monster.
All right.
Uh, gets scared at first when he sees him, and that
Yeah.
right there,
No,
he had a
that's
line. He had a line, Marty, that cracked me up. He disappeared, and he's no longer there. He's like, "Okay, you're losing it.
okay.
No,
At least
you're
he
not
didn't
losing it."
walk against. He's like, at
Yeah,
least he didn't walk against the wind. Shit.
right,
I hate
right.
that.
I hate that stuff. How often does he see dead people come back to life? I mean, just
Yeah,
get the heck
really.
from me, but I hate that stuff.
Or,
Michael,
or, or better yet, the part that I thought that was funny too was when he catches him in his apartment, and he's all like freeze, and he drops his beer, and he's and he's like, and then remember because that's what he says. He says because when he catches him after Gideon's pawn shop blows up, he's all like, "Don't move," and then he's all like, "I thought the cops say freeze," and he's all like, "Well, I'm saying don't move."
Mhm. Michael Wincott, I'm wondering if he has a brother that acts as well named Jeff Wincott, if they're any relation.
Um, Probably.
I haven't found anything yet that links them together, but I haven't really, I haven't Googled it or anything. I'm just looking here on his biography. It's listed here on IMDb.
Now is he our main bad guy? Top dollar?
Yes, that's top dollar.
Okay.
But no, it doesn't mention anything about it, so it's no big deal.
I've seen he's got that familiar villain face. You know what? He's been like every other thing that I think I've seen him in, he's always played a really good villain.
He does play
So
a good villain, but that's why he's typecasted as a villain. He's got that raspy voice that's
uh,
perfect for what he does, the way for his acting style and everything. Plays a great villain for sure.
yeah.
Bailing that played Micah, she played a great villain along with him. I mean, just kind of like evil.
Yeah, man, she's got that blade out, and she's all like, "I like her eyes, so pretty." And I was like, "Dude, psycho!"
Got this fascination with eyes, where she says the
Yeah,
eyes. What is it? The eyes hold
eyes are the window to the soul.
the window to the soul. There you go. Yeah. One of my favorite people. Well, I ain't gonna call him one of my favorite people. I mean, he's in quite a few movies that I like. Put it that way. But
Uh,
David Patrick Kelly that played T Bird.
T-Bird. Yep,
Do you recognize him from other movies? Do you remember other movies he
I
was in?
do recognize him from other movies. I cannot tell you what movies, but I do
Well,
recognize him for.
he was in Warriors for one.
Oh yeah, come out and play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was Sully in Commando. It was like
Oh yeah.
Matrix.
I
Wait, he says,
I
"Do you
say
remember Sully when I promised to kill you last?" He says, "Yeah, Matrix,
I
that's what you
lied.
said." Yeah, I lied. So that's the worst ever Hollywood, death scream of all
That's
time, I
great.
think.
Yeah, well, you got that
Just
right.
did you hear him this awful scream, then it just trails off into the darkness as he falls down to the cliffside. Then he
Uh,
goes back to the car and she goes, "What'd you do with Sully?" "I let him
I
go."
let him go.
Yeah. He was
I
also in
just remembered where he's also from. I remember the face now. He was from that movie Dreamscape or Dream. It had man. It had cousin Eddie's brother. Oh,
this is what happens, everybody, when we get
Dennis
older.
Dennis Quaid. Dennis Quaid.
We lose track of our thoughts very easily.
Exactly. Dreamscape had Dennis Quaid, and it had that other guy from this movie that played T Bird. I
Mhm.
know for a fact he was in there.
I know he was in 48 Hours as well.
Yes, he was in 48 Hours.
So,
Who
I mean,
was who was the love interest in Dreamscape? Was that was that Kate? Oh, what is her name? Because I remember she was in I remember she was in the second Indiana Jones movie.
second Indiana Jones. What, the woman that's with him in the plane that
Kate,
crashes?
yeah, is it Kate Capsh?
Kate
Kate Cap?
Capshaw.
Yeah, Kate Capshaw. That's it. Well, see, we're getting off topic, man.
I mean,
We're stretching it here.
it's easy to do, man. It's easy to do. It's all your fault, though.
I know it is. It
It's still
is.
easy to do, though. Couple more people. Lawrence Mason. When I first seen him, he played 1010. And when I first saw him, my first thought was of a podcast that we just got done with, myself and Travis and his son Connor. We did Hackers, and he was Lord Nikon in Hackers. And I was like, I didn't
Really?
remember, I didn't remember him being in The Crow. And I'm
Oh,
watching it going, oh yeah, I said, oh, that's Lord Nikon. We just did this, Hackers the other day. It's funny to see
huh.
him in something else so quickly.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Tony Todd, which played the right hand man,
Uh-huh. Was it Grange?
Grange.
Grange. Yeah.
So we get
Uh,
definitely got to mention
the
him.
the great Tony Todd, aka Candyman.
Don't say his name 3 times,
Yeah, that's for sure.
and he will appear.
Well,
Oh goodness. And Michael Massey, I want to touch on him for a second, but this is the one I mentioned earlier. He played Fun Boy. He's the one that was directly involved with that shooting on set there with the gun that went haywire.
yeah.
The prop that wasn't set up correctly. That ended up killing Brandon Lee. Now, was it that the prop was set up incorrectly, or was there a blank? Was there
What
something lodged
what
in the
I
chamber that fired out when the blank went off?
what I remember reading was that it was a blank bullet that when he fired it, when it hit the cap was defective, and that somehow the shards from the bullet, the empty casing, is what
Mhm.
came out and is what tore up Brandon Lee's insides. So
Okay, still ashamed to say the way it goes.
yeah. Mhm.
Onset injury, not as bad as Alec Baldwin or anything, but yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah. But I mean,
Rochelle.
with that whole thing with Alec Baldwin, I mean, was that an actual live round that somebody put in the gun?
I believe so. The people who were
Yeah,
setting up the prop guns, they messed up earlier. I believe earlier in the day, some of the live ammunition rounds got knocked over and they blended in, I think, with some of the blanks. So instead of just getting rid of everything and playing it safe and getting more blanks, I think they sit there and picked up the ones they thought was right
uh,
and
okay.
then back in there or something.
Man, that's terrible.
So the little girl Sarah, played by Rochelle Davis, that was the young girl who bridges the world with the living and the dead. The Crow was her only major film. It says.
So, so that wasn't her that reprised the Sarah role in the second Crow movie.
I don't know if it was or not for sure, but it said this was her only major film.
Okay, because I know Sarah's character comes back in the Crow City of Angels.
Hmm.
So
I don't know, probably not the same person,
okay.
but I don't know for a fact. I just know it says that this was her only major film.
Mhm.
So I would think that
I
she
don't
wouldn't
even
be in it.
think I don't think the girl that played Shelly went on to do anything either after this movie. So
May not have. I don't remember I don't remember her having a huge part in this one anyway. Just a couple of
yeah, just a
I want
couple
to
of
call them
like
cameos.
memory. It was like memory scenes, and then it was like just that one scene when she comes back to, like, I guess claiming to come back to heaven or the grave or whatever you want to call it. I mean, it's that whole part was kind of weird. So
Um, I've lost my page again. Darn it! I had this thing right in front of me. I mean, I wish I had my three monitors set up back. I really do because it was so easy to keep track of everything. I just go from monitor to monitor. And instead, I feel like I've just lost it. A couple of trivia and behind the scene facts that I had put down here to throw out. I mentioned before that all great movies have great soundtracks, right? I mean, whether it's musical scores or actual songs by somebody, they typically have a great soundtrack to it. Nine Inch Nails, The Cure, and Stone Temple Pilots were all featured on the
yeah,
film's legendary soundtrack.
Yeah, and I want to say the Rollins band that did Ghost Rider. That was
Yeah.
part of the soundtrack. So
It says it's widely considered one of the best film soundtracks of the 90s.
yeah, in my opinion, it is the best song. Yeah,
Um,
if you love alternate music with a little heavy metal mixed in, that is your soundtrack. So I remember wearing it up. So
I
had that bad boy on tape, and as soon as I saw it on CD, I grabbed it on CD.
Man, let me throw a couple more questions at you here. So we talked about the film and would have had the same impact if he hadn't have died. Where does The Crow sit with you among 90s superhero or comic book movies?
Uh, I hate to say it, but the first Blade movie will definitely come in at my number one because I did not like the Punisher. I thought that was crap compared to the newer Punisher movies.
Mhm.
Uh, but Blade and then definitely the Crow is number two. Uh, and I'm trying to think of any other '90s. I can't remember if Daredevil was the '90s or 2000. So, but uh, but the one with Ben Affleck and his ex-wife. I'm trying to remember her name, but
Jennifer
I can't
Garner
remember. And Jennifer Garner. I
doing
can't remember.
Daredevil and Elektra.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, was Daredevil in the '90s? I don't. I can't
I
remember
think it
who it
was in
was.
the. I think it was early 2000s.
Yeah, so I mean, our only options literally in the '90s was Blade and The Crow because I think the Blade came out in like late '90s.
What about Spawn?
So, yeah, Spawn came out in the '90s too. So let's see. It's going to be Blade, then The Crow, then Spawn. I like Spawn, but I did not like the simple fact it wasn't a great comic book adaptation. So hopefully the reboot that comes out next year will be better. So
I agree. What do you think Brandon Lee's career would have looked like if he had lived? I mean, can you think
uh,
of anything else they would have thrown his way to be a part of that he could have done well? Would he have made just strictly martial arts movies? Would he have branched out? You think?
I think he would have been a great actor, and he could have probably pulled off any role. To tell you the truth, he could have done martial arts. He could have done serious. I mean, he even had a comic. He even had a comic side to him. I mean, he showed that off in the little Tokyo movie.
I mean,
So
he. I don't think he is much. As far as comedic chops go, I think that when they put a few little one liners out for him, he hit those in stride. But I mean, overall, he
yeah,
looks he doesn't
martial
look.
arts was yeah. I think
Yeah,
martial arts would have been his forte. So he would have
yeah.
followed in his dad's footsteps. So
Well, that would have been yeah. I think he would have done well though.
yeah.
So I mean, we'll never know at this point. But
Mhm. Now, could you see? Could you now say if he had lived and went on to made other movies? Could you see him remaking any of his dad's older films?
ooh,
So
I don't think he would have done it just out of respect for his dad. I don't think he would have.
yeah,
Plus, I think he wanted to be known as Brandon Lee, not Bruce Lee's son.
all right. But do you think he might have made, like, say, if they were to make like an Enter the Dragon Part Two, and say that was that was his. I mean, that would have actually been his actual son that would be coming to play that actual role. That would have been actually really cool. I mean, to see, say that was, whatever Bruce Lee's name was in the movie, that was his son coming to do like another tournament.
Right.
So yeah, so I could see that. So
That's a good possibility.
uh,
Um, so tell us about the reboot. I told you I didn't really watch it, but you said
uh,
you went ahead and you went through with it. You watched it. I didn't remember it at first. And I guess that's why, because it was so bad, and not many people talked about it after the fact. But I never really saw the reboot of it. But you mentioned it was not too bad, but it could have been a lot better.
yes, like I said before, if it was part of like the saga of the Crow, then maybe it would have been a better movie, and not say that this was Eric Draven and Shelly Webster. That they were just, it wasn't even a rehash of the original movie. I mean, it it literally took 35 to 40 minutes of them just building the story, then getting into the action.
Yeah.
And then when the action finally got there, it sucked. I mean, it sucked. And then there was more story. Then it was sucky action again. Then more story. Then sucky action. A little bit of sci-fi thrown in here. A little bit of devil worship thrown in for some crazy reason. I mean, it's like, I know the fourth Crow movie touched on that whole devil aspect, and that's what, in my opinion, that is what killed that movie. Is that if they'd have just stuck with just the whole, like the fourth movie was decent,
Yeah.
but if they'd have just stuck with just, the guy coming back for vengeance to kill these people because they killed his, I mean, it was almost the same principle as the original, but here we go. We're going to throw in these devil worshippers that sacrifice his girlfriend to the devil, and then basically, he comes back for revenge on these devil worshippers. And it's, oh man. Uh, oh, don't get me started.
I was giving you the soapbox to rant with. That what I was letting you have it. tear into them, Let them know
Yeah.
what you really think.
Yeah. The reboot, like I said, decent, but not anywhere close to the original.
So in
I
other words,
mean,
everybody, we're not recommending you go watch the remake. Stick with the original.
yes, yes. If you want a movie that's got solid action, solid sci-fi, solid love story, and solid vengeance, this is your movie.
So
I mean, this is it.
and
So
to, and to kind of expand on it, I mean, I mentioned earlier that it spawned some sequels and stuff in TV series. It had a
yeah,
TV series where Mark Dacascos played the role of
yeah, Eric
the
Draven
Crow
character.
point,
Yeah,
and
no,
of course, you got the wrestler Sting, who went on to portray his variation of the Crow.
yeah, yeah. That was kind of weird too.
I think he did that for the majority of the last half of his career. That very thing, the Crow Sting.
Hmm.
And
But
of course, did you watch the TV series? I didn't really pay
I,
much attention to it.
I maybe caught like 5 episodes here and there, but to tell you the truth, I really didn't care for it neither. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Crow trilogy movies are decent, except for four, and except for the reboot. Um, I really love the first movie. That will go down in history as like one of my top 10 movies ever. Like top 10.
Top 10.
Uh, yes, it is in
I
my top
mean,
10.
you're not fooling around. You're calling top 10 on there. So,
Yeah, it is. It is my top one of my top 10s. Um, the second movie, The Crow City of Angels, it still had a really good storyline. It's just the actor that played the character that the Crow brings back.
mm-hmm.
Like I said, the storyline, excellent. I really love the storyline for the movie. But the actor that portrayed the guy that was brought back, I'm trying to remember his name, but he is not a good actor, in my opinion. Not a really good actor. Now, when we get to the Crow Salvation, which that movie had, and you talked about her not too long ago in the interview with a vampire. That had Kirsten Dunst. Kirsten Dunst was actually in a Crow movie, and she was actually halfway decent. Uh, the the guy that was brought back in the Crow Salvation. Uh, his name's Eric.
I
Shoot.
can't. I remember Eric, but I don't remember the last name at all.
Yeah, but his real name is Eric something, but I can't remember what his name was in the movie. But he was also in Resident. He was in the first Resident Evil movie. He was the one that had the stuff growing out of his arm and changing into Nemesis. So,
Okay.
uh, but after the third Crow movie, and man, I'm really giving some decent props to the third movie because it wasn't what you would call really that great. So it was like after the third movie, it went off the rails. I mean, that the fourth movie, it it had two really decent actors in it. It had the kid that played in Terminator 2,
Yeah.
the one that played
Was it, was it
the one
Edward
that played her
Furlong?
son, yeah, Edward Furlong, and it also had the guy from Bones and the guy from SEAL Team. Um, he played like one of the main devil worshippers or something. I think he was like the main devil worshiper. But I'm telling you, man, it was just like that fourth movie. That was just a waste, a waste, a waste, a waste, a waste
A
of
waste
film,
of time.
a waste of time, and a waste of film. And and I know for the budget, if it barely made $3 million, that would be too much.
Well, that's, you know, you want them to do good at least, right? I mean,
I know.
no,
No,
absolutely, positively
absolutely,
not.
positively not. So, and I think the only thing that saved the reboot is the opening weekend, and that is no joke. I think it made its money that they made making the movie, and
Yeah.
then after that, it was done. It was over and done. So
Hmm. Well, Marty, we are nearing the end of the show here. I want to get your two things from you. I want to get your favorite scene from the movie, and then your final take and recommendations.
okay, favorite scenes of the movie. Let's see. This might sound kind of crazy, but I love the whole scene, like where, like when he like comes crawling up. Well, when actually the crow is sitting there on his tombstone, and it's literally like tapping with its beak, and it's breaking pieces of the headstone with its
Right.
beak.
Right.
I mean, how can a bird actually do that? I mean, that's crazy. But it's like you see that whole part, and then you hear literally like I don't know if it was almost like a heartbeat, but that's what it sounded like. It was like you hear this kind of thump 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 thump, and then you see the dirt start to ease up, and then you see him come crawling out. And when he comes crawling out, he's all contortioned up, like his muscles are still all, they're trying to get all unstiff and everything. And then he just leans up and he's like screaming out in pain and everything. And then just that whole scene when he's like, walking back to his apartment, and then he goes into the apartment, and then he grabs Gabriel and he picks the cat up, and then he starts reliving every bit of that, you know,
Yeah.
getting shot, getting stabbed, seeing Shelly getting raped and, and beaten. And then he's finally picked up and then shot twice and put out the window. And when he's reliving all this, it's like you see every little bit. I mean, it's just like driving him into the ground. And then when he finally, like, they shoot him out the window, and then he's up by this time, and his arms are stretched out, and then you see the bullet holes that are already in him. And then he stands, and then he's up on his feet, and he goes and he's pushed back, and then he flings up into the window, and he grabs it, and he does his flip and spins back in. And as soon as he spins back in, he looks at his hands, and his hands are healing. And he's kind of like, what's that? You know, and then after that, it's just like, when he starts putting on the makeup, and he sees the clown's face and puts the makeup on, and then, puts the clothes on, and then he's starting to walk towards the window, and then the crow just literally lands on his shoulder.
Yeah.
That was epic. I mean, just epic. It's just like that whole scene. But I want to
So,
say,
to your recommendations, would you highly recommend this movie, or would you say it's a necessity that you have to watch this movie at least once in your life?
this movie is a necessity. You have to watch this movie. This movie makes my top 10 movies of all time. All time. You have to watch this movie. So, I mean, if
Well,
you,
that's gonna be
if
one of our
you,
shows one day soon. Marty and Chris's top 10 of all time.
uh I mean, if you love sci-fi, if you love action, even if you love, even if you love a good, almost like, I mean, even like the strong romance scenes in the movie. I mean, it gave you like his portrayal of like seeing his memories, as you know them going through their lives, well, their life, and then him proposing and everything, and then you seeing like the whole part where he's like he's putting out the stove where she had caught something on fire, and then he's all like, he's laughing, and he's like, we'll go out to eat. It's just the whole little, the love that he had for her.
Yeah.
So is I think one of the premises of the movie and the reason why he came back was to make sure that they didn't go on living. So
I 100% agree with you. Your outlook on the movie, and I think and it has to be. You guys really have to watch this movie. I know I say it about all of them, but I mean, this is one of the better '90s movies that was out there for a long time. Not a
and a
whole
good
lot of them that
and a good
were.
adaptation and a
Not
good
a lot of them.
adaptation from a comic book. So
Yeah, not a lot of them going to compare, but definitely well worth the watch. So.
mhm.
Well, Marty, we're going to go ahead and wrap this thing up here. We're sitting on the 56-minute mark. We're actually going to make it just under an hour for a change versus going over. It's hard to believe.
Uh-oh.
But what can I say? We did it. We did it.
We did it.
Yay. Anyway, we do appreciate you, Marty, coming on with us and talking about The Crow. I mean, you did not disappoint. You said this was your show, man. You said this was what you watched. You know it frontwards and backwards, and
Yeah.
I think you put some good points out there for us to, especially some of these things to think about. We posed questions on earlier. So if anybody else has questions or want to tell us about their favorite part of the movie, reach out to us at a retro life for you at gmail.com, or you can find us on social media at Facebook and on Instagram. So
Or better yet, I want to see some people telling me what they thought about the reboot. That's what I want to see. I
yeah,
want
let
to
us,
see. I want to see people posting about that. So, so make my day. Post
maybe
about the
we
reboot.
maybe we can find someone to go ahead and do that. All right. Well, folks, we'll be seeing you guys next week on the next podcast. I got what to do. I lost my little outro here. The Crow just isn't a movie, it's a moment frozen in time. A tragic blend of beauty, brutality, and broken hearts. Brandon Lee gave everything to this performance, and the result is a haunting legacy that continues to echo through pop culture even today. Thanks for joining us today on Retro Life for You. And if you enjoyed the episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, share it with a fellow 90s movie lover, and always remember, Marty, it can't rain all the time.
Yeah. Hey, and before I leave, I want to say rest in peace, Ozzy Osbourne, and
Uh,
rest in peace, Hulk Hogan, because I found out today that the Hulkster died, and that
yeah,
is
this
sad
is
news.
as we're recording this right now, it is 9:24 p.m. on 7, well, let's just say July the 24th. And yeah, we did find out today that the immortal Hulk Hogan, the man that revolutionized the wrestling business in the 80s, he passed away. And
Well,
Ozzy was Ozzy more of a
heavy metal man, he's a heavy metal god.
no. I mean,
So
what was he a death or I thought I seen someone say he was an assisted
uh,
suicide because they allow that there.
I'm not sure,
I mean,
but I know he did. I know he
regardless,
did
it's a
pass
death.
away. Yeah, he
Yeah,
passed away yesterday.
and then let's
So
not leave out, since we are a retro show, let's don't forget Malcolm Jamal Warner that played
Malcolm
Theo
Jamal
on the
Warner, yeah,
Cosby Show.
yeah, the Cosby Show, yeah, and
Unfortunately, he was on vacation and got caught in some riptides while he was swimming in the ocean, and it pulled him out, and he
uh,
couldn't get away from it. So,
did you ever watch The Resident?
no,
Because he played a really good character in The Resident. It was a Fox show,
yeah, no,
like
I
the
haven't.
I think the later years, like 2023, 2024, he played a doctor on that, and he was really good in that. So
I have not seen it. No, never really watched it.
yeah,
I've heard about it, but I haven't really got into it and watched it though. So,
yeah.
But all right, well, once again, Marty, we'll catch you guys, all of our listeners next time. And Marty, again, thanks for coming on with us, man.
You're
Well,
welcome, Chris.
as always, we'll have to find another one and do this again.
Oh yeah, something
All right,
passionate, man. Something passionate.
here we go.
Yeah.